thank you, Carl and Tim, for that great presentation, and welcome to all of you to our virtual tour here. I know we're really hoping that we could get you out to the job site, but during these times, we'll do our best to do a virtual tour. We're standing here at the CU Fish Project, standing in the courtyard specifically. In our background, this location really shows the distinct different parts of the project itself. Starting on this side over here, the first level, this is where the kitchen and servery is going to be with the 20-inch concrete PT transfer deck. On top of that is the residence hall and the dorm rooms, excuse me. And then as you spin around here, it's a continuation of those dorm rooms into the 7-story portion of the project, and then continuing on over here into the 3-story Learning Commons building in the structural steel. So I think we can go on up, check a few different things from there. All right, so we're going to start here at the concrete cores. Specifically, we wanted to point out one of Tim's points in his presentation, and as you can see in the background, is this vertical section of windows that we have. This posed a few challenges for us during construction. The first one of them is as we were designing the formwork system and the location of the window itself was oriented as such where it was at a location where one of the points of the formwork system would be held as we jumped that up. So we were able to work through that with our formwork manufacturer and get a point that worked with it. But just one of the considerations that we took during construction, just to make sure that we can maintain that element of it. Yes, we would have loved to have the portions between, and you can see the plywood and the metal right there. That's the landings of the stairs within. We would have loved to have those all incorporated, but there again, to maintain that design element, we're able to adjust our formwork systems to make that work. So I think from there, we're going to go up to the 3rd floor and take a look at the interface between the structural steel and the cold form framing systems. Referring to as the common lounges, which are the common locations between the dorm rooms themselves, and uniquely behind the camera, we can pan over there in just a moment, but these were designed to where they connect 2 floors at one time. And in the area we're standing right here, which would be the kitchen area, and then there would be a stair that connects up to the 2nd level, which would be more of a lounge hangout area. So really kind of a cool space that you get the view of the downtown from this nice curtain wall section, and then also all of the amenities that bring these 2 wings of the residence halls together. So we're standing here at the point of the Learning Commons and the Residence Hall connection. This has a lot of unique details in it when it comes to the structure of the building. One of them is the decking types. Tim mentioned it in his presentation. Just up over here is the dovetail decking that becomes exposed. So that product right there is in its final state, excuse me. So a lot of work was done to preserve the look and the finish of that area, whereas if you continue through, you'll be able to see the slab beam, the concrete below that, and then you come into the lighter gauge dovetail decking, which gets an ACT over the top of it and doesn't get exposed. Then the third of them, as we enter into the Learning Commons area over here,
good. That looks really good. We worked hard on that little stair.
All right. So as we pass through that core right there, we're into the transition of the Learning Commons building. This space itself is a standard structural steel structure with wide flange columns, just as Tim mentioned. But the decking type, again, very standard for what you'd see in a structural steel building. And then behind me here is just a little bit more of that interface. And it may not look like a lot in some small columns, but a lot of planning and design went into that interface right there. So what you're seeing is actually this slab that we're standing on is isolated from the wall that we have behind us. However, the steel itself is integrated in with this wall. Those walls are load-bearing, cold-form metal framed walls themselves that continue up all the way to the seventh level, and then all the way down to the 20-inch PT slab. So the coordination there was we couldn't start the structural steel portion of this until we had the PT slab poured, and then on top of that we had all of the steel built up, and we couldn't build the steel up until we had the next level of cold form metal framing system. So it really took a balance to get all this done right here, but really cool when it all came together. All right, so dive in a little bit more about the cold form metal framing system. Again, just as Tim mentioned, all of these studs and all of these panels have been designed off-site. In this case, they were designed in Atlanta and built in Atlanta and shipped out here. Obvious, the thicker gauge steel, they're all 4x4 panels and have been designed specifically in size, length for the space itself. There's also areas such as this where the steel is required to nest in with the system. That's just with bigger openings, such as the door frames, just to make sure that they get that rigidity that transfers that load up above. I did want to point out, as we're standing right here up at the ceiling, we like a lot of projects that are going on now, spend a lot of effort and time in the BIM process to coordinate the pipes, ducts, electric, etc. That's above the ceiling, and took it a step further to plan all of the points. Because a lot of this structure is going to be exposed, we went through the process of installing all of the hangers. So you'll see the blue referred to in the construction industry as a blue banger. Those will all be for a pipe or a duct support, and then it'll also have some of the other hangers, such as the wire there or the gripple, that'll hang some of the lighter ones. Really important on a project where you have exposed ceilings or tight ceilings. As you can see, the floor-to-floor height in here is pretty short. So every bit of overhead height that we can get and making sure that we keep that tight and maintain that ceiling only helps us. All right, so to address a little bit more of the exterior of these panels, I know I mentioned that they're floor-to-floor panels themselves. So as they construct, build one floor, set the decking on top of it, pour the slab, and then continue up. What you see right here is the second layer or level of post-tension deck. The reason I want to point this out is on top of the post-tension deck really sets the stage for the structure above. So the levelness and the flatness throughout is really crucial to how these set. If they're pre-manufactured ahead of time, months ahead of time, and so the height needs to be maintained so you don't grow the building, you keep a nice level plane on this whole thing, and so put a lot of really quality time and effort into the PT slabs just to make sure that those are as level as they can to set a really good stage for setting them. And then the exterior panel sheathing themselves down on the ground, you can see that we have a lot of them laid out. We bring them off the truck, set them on the ground. This one, we've worked with our framing contractor to pre-sheet them. So we're doing it all here on the job site themselves. And this product, because of the structure nature to it and the code requires it to be a 2-hour structure. So it's 2 layers of drywall on both sides of it. To take some of that work off the lifts, a little bit safer, a little bit more quick production, we're putting that first layer on the ground. So this layer right here is installed on the ground and then flown up into place. And this is a moisture resistant board that's able to allow us a little bit quicker to start our roughing on the inside of the building, and then they follow it up with the second layer, which is the final air and water barrier system over the top of that.